everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a flip through for you of this 6x8 album. This is my me album, mostly. This is just a collection of 6x8 stories that I have told using a variety of story kits, products, Kidola kits, whatever I felt inspired to tell, I have told in here. And they're, like I said, they're mostly stories about me. Some of them are about Justin, but generally most stories are about me. Now, they are not in order. I sort of just worked through it a bit sporadically, starting in 2021, and then sorry about that. And then what I did is I went and I sort of tried to fill in the spaces as much as possible. So it's a chunky album, but it is done. But these stories are definitely not in date order. If I can remember, I will tell you what story kit or what product I used in every single layout. But I'm just gonna jump right in. So starting off, I'll show you here. I've got this little mini book that I made. This is from the Strong story kit, and around about that time, I can't remember who it was, might have been Morgan or Crystal. They were talking about doing the what is it called, the strength finder test. And so I did that strength finder test, and it tells you what your 5 strengths are, and I made this little mini book using the products that we got in that particular kit. So we got these 4x4 cards, and that was kind of the basis of this mini book. So the 5 is from an Ali Edwards stamp, and then I just went through and I did the little test, a little bit of journaling there about doing the test. And my 5 strength is I'm an empathizer, thinker, self-believer, chameleon, and coach. And so on every page I kind of have some journaling on that card and then a photo to match. And that's the last one, and then I backed it with this, I think this was a 3x4 card from the Strong Story kit. So I really like how that looks, and I just sort of clipped that into the beginning of my album here, and it just sits there like that. So this is my opening page, and this is ironically the last page that I did in this album, and it's using the Open Story kit. And the reason why I love putting this here is I was able to say what I was open to in doing this album, but it was retrospective journaling. So I knew obviously what I was already open to, not what I was going to be open to, if that makes any sense. But so I could say that I'm open to being vulnerable and sharing the real stories, open to expressing gratitude for my family, open to finding the silly and the fun side in the seriousness, open to exploring myself and embracing exactly who I am, and open to being creative without limits. So I just really like how this is like the opening page of my album, and the beginning again and open. So I like that. This was the first ever layout that I did, and this was kind of the inspiration for this whole album. Like, I was going through a really tough time back in early 2021, and I wanted to write about it. So this was using, what was this? The Ups and Downs collection, I think, from Ali Edwards mostly. And then I did a lot of journaling there, and then I did this little photo collage here. This was using my stamps. So a couple of years ago, Shu Wen from Shu Puff Creations organised a community project where she encouraged everyone to use their stamps, and every month she had people coming on to YouTube to do like a bit of a crafty hop on how to use different types of stamps. So this was, I think, this was what I did after watching the first lot, and I think it was solid stamps or titles, I can't remember, but I was really inspired watching all of those crafty ladies in their stamping videos, so I thought I would make this layout, and I really love how that looks. This was, I love this layout, I love how it looks, I love how it came out. This was using the Paper Persian shop. I think it was their first ever collection that they released, and it was like about morning routines. And I could go through and I wrote my like what I have got in my bathroom at the moment. And then I realized that I have a lot of pink products, and so I took a photo of them all here, and so this page is very, very, very pink. Next page is using the Bloom story kit. This was just a story that I wanted to tell about these flowers. Again, back in 2021, this was in April, I was really struggling with a lot of that had to do with work at this point of time. And then I would walk back from the gym and I would see these beautiful flowers that were starting to bloom, and they just made me feel super happy and hopeful. And so that is what this story is all about. I did some stamping using those giant circle stamps from Ali Edwards that I got a while ago, and I did some cutting out of the journaling card here. This is the Connect story kit, and I wanted to talk about how I love connecting with other women and lifting other women up. And then these felt hands was just like a random extra that I bought one day, and they worked so well with the story, and I'm so glad that I bought them because I just thought they were perfect. And I would talk there about how amazing it is that women lift each other up. And so that was that story. This was a story from October 2021. So a lot of these stories will be from 2021 and 2023. There won't be so many, I think, from 2022 from memory because I didn't really scrap much in 2022. But this was a story using the Teach story kit, and I just wanted to talk about how Justin and I are learning from each other and teaching each other. And so I used these photos that we had on a date night, and I did some stitching onto this page, some very wonky stitching. This was very recent. This is using the Happy story kit, and this was from the Surprise story kit, but it's just a story about finding out that I was pregnant. So I thought this was the perfect kit to use to document this particular story, and so I'm very glad that I did. And that goes onto the back here because I had this space to fill up. So I had this empty spot next to this project, and so I just used this on both sides to fill that up. Here is this is all digital. I had a photo shoot with my friend, and it was super fun, and then the Care story kit came out, and I absolutely loved it, but it was when we had like real bad global shipping delays, and so I knew I wasn't going to get that kit for about a month or two. So I decided to use the digital kit, and I created this background myself and took this little part of the journaling card, and I did my journaling there. I printed out these hearts, and then I stitched through them to create a bit of texture, and I propped up this little phrase on foam dots. And so that layout, the photos are directly like on the background there as well. So that was a fun little bit of digital journaling. This was using Colorcast Designs products they released when they started doing their subscription, and it was like your top 5, and then I decided to do my top 5 binge-worthy shows, books of all time, moments from last year, movies of all time, and family activities. I'm curious if my movies are still the same. No, my movies are different and my books are also different. It's just funny because I did this back at the beginning of 2021, and like I would say, yeah, this would be different and these would be both different. Interesting. Just paired that with a little photo here because family activities was one of the prompts, and I did some stitching directly to each of those little printed out parts. What I would have done is probably rounded the corners if I did this again, but I like how it looks, and then I used this wood veneer piece saying, "This is us." Here is another story using the Connect story kit, and this is a story about my friend Lisa and how we really connected at the beginning of 2021. We were like always friends, but then we just happened to have babies very close together. And so from then onwards, we saw each other a lot, and it was just really, I'm very grateful for her. So I wanted to tell a story specifically about her. This is also using the Strong Story kit. I crushed that kit. I loved that kit. And we were in lockdown. And so I wanted to make sure that I kept up my exercise routine during lockdown. And so I did a workout every single day we were in lockdown. So we were in lockdown for 4 days, and I took a selfie every time I finished the workout. And I used So the Strong Story kit was very green based, and so my hair was very purple, and so I used like stamping to bring out the different colors from my hair, and so I feel like this is a very cohesive little page. This is from last year using the History Story kit, and I literally subscribed again to Story Kit so I can get this paper, because I thought it'd be really fun to write about my first memory, first job, childhood home, first car, first kiss, first loss, and first big purchase. And then I paired it on the other side, just the back of this little see-through card there. I just cut up the same heart. I have a photo of me when I was younger with my brother because meeting him was my first memory. And then a photo of me that I took recently before I did that one. And then, yeah, just this little filler card here. It's funny, as I posted this online, I didn't blur out the name of the guy who I kissed first. And then I think it was, who was it? It was a Jean. She's like, oh yeah, I had to blur out the name of mine. And I thought, oh, I should probably have done that because like anyone can just like Google him. But I don't care. So this is a project that I did for the XO Story Kit. So if you were a subscriber, you would found out how I did this. Now I put this all together. This was, oh, I loved this one. I think this was also a Connect story that I told. And like I said, I went through a really hard time at the beginning of 2021. And then this is kind of a story about how I started to feel better. And I just took a selfie the day that I realized I was starting to actually get feeling a bit better. Now, it was an up and down here, so there were definitely some lows after this. But I was so grateful that I was able to connect with myself. And yeah, that is this story. These are two separate stories. This is the using the open, no it's not, this is also using Grow, and it was what I am opening myself up for doing. So I did a little list there. I was saying I'm open to doing pole dancing, I'm trying pottery, but I did not like it, and I was really bad at it, and I'm the kind of person where if I'm being creative, I need to be able to pick up on it fairly quickly, otherwise I lose interest. I was studying, I'm now finished, but starting to be a personal trainer and trying new scrapbooking techniques. So I really liked how this page looks. I'm trying so many new things and I'm loving it. I like how that stamping looks there as well. So I like how that page looks. This was recent as well. This was done a few months ago using the Fierce collection from Tracy Reed. As soon as she released this, I just knew I had to tell a story about pride, and pretty much specifically my pride, and how I appreciate that in Pride, like that there is Pride Month and that there's queer visibility. So I did lots of journaling there, did a little flip out, and then this is one of my all-time favorite movies, so I loved having that as the cover there, and I really like having that story told. This was just a photo from like a photo shoot that we did for work a long time ago, and I thought, I'm going to use these photos because I'm holding a freaking rainbow. So I thought that was great. So the next two stories are back to back. I actually told them about 6 months apart, and it was, who did I get the idea from? So originally, I think it was Shu Wen from Shu Puff Creations told a story of things that she learned from ex-boyfriends. She didn't put their names in her layout, but she told stories of like, from you I learned this, from you I learned this. I read this, I saw that layout very, very shortly after I actually lost a friend. She didn't die, it was like a friend breakup. It was devastating for me, and I was like just really trying to process it. And part of that processing, I went for a lot of walks, and one day I took this photo, and I love in this photo, it's got like really, it was stormy as can be. And so you can see the water is like super rough. This is along the Swan River here in Perth. And then there is a rainbow on the horizon, and I thought that was like a really beautiful photo. So I wanted to write some journaling about things that I learned from that relationship or that friendship. Again, I used a Strong Story kit here, although not much of it. I used this card, and then as you flip it over on the other side, there is some journaling there as well, just some handwritten journaling explaining the list here. So this list here is what I actually learned from her. And I used acetate to make sure that this page falls like in the middle, which I really liked as well. And so then, very much in the way that the universe works, I then lost another friend. Completely unrelated, and I was like, it makes me look really shitty. Well, I shouldn't say that. It makes me look really like a crappy person. But look, it happens. So I lost another friend, completely different circumstances, but it happened, and I thought it would be kind of like as a funny joke to myself to tell these stories back to back. And I did exactly the same thing. I said, what did I learn from this relationship? And I did the card with the thing on the back of the little title piece there. And this is very much like a case where this friendship ended for reasons that I think neither of us could control. And I still have a lot of love and respect in my heart for this person. This person turned out to be a very toxic person in my life. And so the lessons that I learned is very, very different. And it's a hard kind of story to share, but one thing I promised myself I'm going to do is just make sure that sorry, my phone was going off. Make sure that I shared the hard stories and that I shared the easy stories, and that's what this album was all about. So then the next page, this is kind of more of a family page rather than a me page, and it was just using the Bloom Story Kit, and I used these big acetate flowers to kind of be a holding place for the beginning of our name. And then I just did a bit of like writing about how each of us were blooming at this point in time. Now, full disclosure, I did this layout fairly recently. I set it up probably when this kit came out, and I just never did it. So the journaling would look a bit different to what it would have looked if I had done it at the time, but I still like how it looks. This is our little story using, now I don't know what this is. Good Story Kit, maybe? I can't remember. Delightful, maybe? No, I can't remember. But I just did like this because this was another filler page. I needed to fill this in. And I liked how I was able to use this kit to tell a story about how I enjoy work. And then on the other side here, I don't think this might have been part of the Laugh Story Kit. Yeah, it was. And this is like a layout in itself. So I did this kind of transparency where I put these cork pieces on top. And then on the other end, I've got a photo of my friend and I laughing, and I did the journaling directly on that photo and have a little smiley face, which we got these speech bubbles in the kit. And so I thought, this is just a fun story to tell because we were laughing so much in this photo, and I thought the laugh kit is perfect to tell this. Another layout using the laugh kit, and this was about, so this was when we were taking silly selfies, and then like as a joke, my friend like put her baby in the photo, and that is my friend Daniel, and he was like so surprised, and I don't know if you can tell his face there. It is, I'll see if I can zoom you in because it's just priceless. His face is just so surprised because he doesn't have kids of himself. He doesn't have kids himself, and so it was just like very surprising that this baby was there, and we were all like laughing so much. So it's probably not as funny as what it was at the time, but it's like I really wanted to document it in this album using the Laugh Story Kit. And then this is my friend Lisa again. This is the Ampersand Story Kit, and I have this photo of, she took me out to lunch for my birthday, and so we took this photo, and then I have this photo of my daughter and her daughter, so this is Emma and Gabby, and they went out to lunch together, and I like that they look the same. We were both on the same sides, and it's kind of similar colours as well, and so I thought this was a really good story to tell, say, mothers and daughters, because like we are really good friends and they're really good friends, and it's just really cute. So on the opposite side of this card, I've got my journaling. This here was a scrap lift from Sabrina, so I joined her Documenting with Friends series a couple of months ago, and I used the Now Story Kit to scrap lift this page from her. here was, sorry, here was, this was done for Kiddoly Kids. So I did this layout. When did I do it? Before 2022 started. So we got like a creative prompt saying, you need to tell a story about your goals for 2022. And I wanted to, and I used the kit to tell the story from the year past and the year future for each of us. So I've got one for Justin, one for me, and one for Emma. Emma's is in her album, but Justin and mine I've put into this album. So that is this, and so I use the same formula where this was type journaling about what my hope is for Justin in 2022. And here I use these stickers that we got in that kit to do some journaling about the year that had passed. And so I did the exact same thing for me. Titles and journaling here. It's a lot of journaling, but it was very much like, it was a very important layout for me to do, and I'm glad I did it. And then again, what my hope is for 2022, and 2 photos of me. We're almost done here. So this, I used the, what was this? The Morning Story kit to create this layout, and I actually did this for Story Kit Crush. So they, every Friday or Saturday now, they get creators to create using a specific kit, and then they share it and you do a bit of an Instagram hop. So this is the story that I told about my little affirmation cards that my like beautiful personal trainer got for me. And so I took a photo of the affirmation card because I pulled it on a day that I just really needed some positivity. And then this was this most perfect little card. And so what I did is I actually, if you can see the white sort of grey border on the outline, that is the photo of the card. I took the actual little love heart card and I backed it with the mixed media paper that I had done here. And I cut out, using my X-Acto knife, my thumb here, and I made it look as if I'm holding up the card, but this is the physical card that I then put in here. The reason why I did that is because I wanted another hit of this blue. So I've got the blue in my hair, which is quite blue, and then I had the blue here, but I wanted another hit of blue, and so I needed to back this card up with something, and so I thought I could put the actual card in here, and then it's like a special memory that I'll remember forever. Only a few more here left to go. This was the Glow story kit, I think it was Glow. And I used some prompted journaling to what sets my heart on fire, and then these are 5 things that sets my heart on fire. So I don't remember what I wrote. Being authentically me, creating, being proud, exercising, and Justin and Emma. So that's obviously I wrote a bit more than that, but that's the kind of things that I use this for prompted journaling, and I really like how that looks. I paired each of these little chipboard pieces with a little acetate heart and a little brad that's colourful, and I like how that looks. It's a very bright page. So this is the final page on this album, so you can see it's chunky. And this was very recent. This was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago that I shared this, and it was just about letting go. Like, I am very much into exercise. I'm very much into controlling what I eat, what my body does, what I do with my body, and it's part of how I deal with my mental health. And I don't know if anyone would realize this, but when you get pregnant, your body doesn't exactly become yours, and it does things that you don't want it to do. And so this was about letting go of the control that I felt like I needed to be able to cope mentally. And I stitched these butterflies on, giving them little loop-de-loops, and I tucked these 2 photos behind this. I cut this out with the X-Acto knife and I tucked it in. So, and I just added this on there as well. There's nothing on the back there. So that is my story album. This is going from, 2021 to 2023. I wasn't going to do another one, but then I saw that Linda did one, and I loved how hers looks, and I thought, look, I don't think I'm going to be able to give up my little me album. I love these stories that I told, and I'm about to give birth, so my stories will look a little bit different. And so I'm excited to kind of continue doing this project in a new album. But that is it for me. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see everyone again next week with another video. Bye.